Hello and welcome to Georgia Bulldogs Live, presented by FanDuel, here on the Georgia Voice of College Football. I'm your host, Matt Green. That is my co-host over there, Bo Underwood. Bo, how you feeling tonight, sir?
I'm doing all right, man. Can't complain. Been a pretty boring start to the month for me, but we could be doing a lot worse. So yeah, how are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. It's been such a weird month. I feel like this has been, Georgia obviously season came to an end on the 1st, and then the college football season just kind of creeped its way to the finish line. But yeah, here we are now, and into the off season. I don't know, maybe we'll be convinced to just try to get the clicks and everything like that at some point. But the way too early stuff, I don't know. It's way too early. Like, I don't know why we're doing this. It's every time, like literally the day after the national championship, it's just, oh, here's our way too early rankings for 2026. It's like we don't even know who's on the damn roster anymore. Like 10 years ago, this wasn't a good idea. Now
Yeah,
it's like you don't even know who's on what team, whatever. It's so crazy. So yeah, I don't know. We're not the way too early people. If you're saying it's way too early, then you probably shouldn't be doing a preview yet because it's way too early. But what are your thoughts, Bo? Anything you wanna before we kick off the show here?
just in general, or like about way too early predictions and
Yeah,
stuff.
what do you think it'll be? I did just kind of open and just throw it
Yeah,
at you.
I kind of agree. I mean, I guess they call it that as like they're kind of like hedging it a little bit. It's almost like, well, we're calling it way too early, so you can't get mad at us for saying that it's way too early. But yeah, oftentimes, I mean, I don't really get a lot out of those. Usually, all those are good for is reading them in January and then, kind of earmarking them, going back to them in December and just looking at how wrong everything was. Be like, oh,
Yeah.
this team, you had this team as like number 3 in the country, and you had this quarterback going to win the Heisman, and he didn't even finish the season, like he got benched. Like that kind of stuff happens all the time. Like, you can rattle off all kinds of examples, but every year there's a guy or a team that at this point in the year we feel great about that they end up just being really disappointing. And then every year there's a team like this year's Indiana team that it's like, yeah, these guys are going to be pretty good. And then they end up, winning the whole championship or something. Like it always happens like that. And that's why
I think
football is so fun because we can sit up here all day and make our predictions and do this and do that. But at the end of the day, you got to watch and play the games, man. And that's the best part about it.
Yeah, and I think as far as like college football, I guess the reason I don't like it is like because rankings actually mean something in college football. Like, you want to talk about the day after the Super Bowl is over. Oh, who's the favorite for next year's Super Bowl? Like, sure, you're still going to get to the playoffs and have to prove it, whatever. Like, it's not actually going to impact the season. It's like the rankings actually impact college football. Like, so seeing a number 2 next to Clemson all off season, you're like, oh, Clemson. It's like that gets into your brain, that it gets into these voters' brains. That's like, oh yeah, this is one of the best teams. And it's like, you look up any point in the season, like at no point did Clemson ever play like one of the best 5 teams in America or anything. So it's like only the preseason prediction was there. And it's like that was a too early thing. Way too early. Might as well say I was I am acknowledging I shouldn't be writing this article right now, but my editor, my publisher wanted me to write this article. So here it is. Like it just, I feel like it doesn't really do anything for just for the discourse. I guess if you're just that hungry for college football information and nuggets, I guess you might click on it. But yeah, that's where I kind of come with it.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, I get why people do them. It's a 24/7 news cycle out there, and there's just this never-ending thirst for content. So we got to get it out any way that we can. But it's definitely not the most essential content out there if you're a football fan.
For sure. But some real content we got, sir. For today, we got some big time news. Keemon Spell, number 1 running back in the 2027 class out of McKeesport, Pennsylvania. I think Penn State, there's a lot of buzz with Penn State
Oh
the
yeah,
last few weeks with this guy. And
he
so
was.
it kind of felt out of nowhere, Georgia getting him.
Uh huh. Yeah, he was committed to Penn State for like the whole season almost, and then he opened it back up when they got rid of James Franklin. And I believe his official, I think he visited Georgia officially towards the end of the season. and might have taken one other visit or something after that, and ended up committing to Georgia today. But yeah, I agree, man. I mean, like this was a guy that I had heard about, and I heard they were bringing him in, but it kind of wasn't really on my radar as like, oh, he's about to commit. Maybe that's just me being out of the loop. I don't pay for On3 and all of those insider websites and everything. Um, no diss to those who do, because On3 is cool, but yeah, I figured like, okay, yeah, 5-star running back, number one running back in the country. He's just coming to RBU to visit to kick the tires, because you figured if you're a 5-star running back, you might as well visit Georgia and do your due diligence. But they actually got him, man. And I guess recruiting is now more unpredictable than ever in this modern era of over the table payments, I suppose. So I guess things like this can sneak up on you a little more than maybe they used to. But yeah, this is a huge get, man. I mean, Kimon Spell is an incredibly talented player, and obviously nowadays you kind of got to have your fingers crossed that a commitment is actually a commitment, that he actually ends up staying there and actually goes to the team. But assuming he does end up being a Bulldog one day, I would be very excited about this as a Bulldog fan.
For sure. And he's 5'10", 210. I don't know about you. Like, that's my prototype running back. Like, I want a running back a little squatty. Like, yeah, sure. You can get Adrian Peterson, be 6'1", 220, whatever he was ranked, but or whatever he was listed at. But just the 5'10", 210, like that's probably something like Nick Chubb coming out of high school. Just like, dude's a beast. And not only the number one running back, because I think Frazier was number one running back and like the 30-something ranked player when he was coming out. I think he's every site I think has him as a top 5 overall player in this 2027 class. I take that back. 24/7 has him at number 7. But On3 has him number 3 overall. So he's up there with the elite of the elite. And that's good to see. Georgia needs to be RBU. Like, we know about the history of Georgia football, the running back position. And obviously the run game was way better this year than it was in 2020 and 2024. But I mean, you got to go back to James Cook, Zamir White, when last time Georgia really had like 2 elite backs. And Zamir White wasn't truly an elite back, but he was a good player, obviously a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. But yeah, I mean, it seemed like every year under Kirby Smart, the first 5-6 years, it was 1, maybe 2 5-star backs in a backfield. And it's kind of been a few years. Like, no disrespect to Kenny McIntosh or some of the good seasons Nate Frazier, some of these guys have had, but you've seen a drop off of Georgia having like that truly elite running back that we're so used to. I wouldn't mind getting back to that.
Oh yeah, me neither, man. That would be sweet. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Georgia's running backs have been. I think like the death of RBU or whatever was always kind of a bit overblown, just because I mean, even if you are this program with this level of resources, you can't control the fact that like the Nick Chubbs and Todd Gurley's of the world just don't happen to come around that often, even if you are completely on it with recruiting. But yeah, I mean, I guess it has been a while since they got like a true stud, a billion-star running back. I mean, Frazier was up there. Frazier was definitely it. I think Frazier was a top 3 running back in this class.
Yeah, I think some had him as number 1.
When was, I mean,
just a little bit lower, 30-something ranked player or something.
I wish I had looked this up before we did the show, but I'd be willing to bet Spell is probably the Georgia's highest ranked running back recruit since they got Zamir White. Because Zamir White, I believe, was number 1 in the country at his position when he committed to Georgia.
Yeah.
Then he had the knee problems and everything. But I mean, that was 2018, 17 when he committed. And so it's been a while, man. That was 2 administrations ago. Like, it's been a minute since Georgia really got that level of recruit at running back, which, again, I don't think that's as big of a deal as maybe some other people do, but it is always, it's cool, man. I mean, Kimon Spell, number 1 running back in the country. That's pretty awesome, dude. Made my day for sure.
Yeah, and looking at 24/7, they keep the historical rankings. So he is now the highest ranked running back commit Georgia has ever gotten.
Wow.
So let's see here. So AJ Green is the 10th highest ranked recruit. They have him at 11 right now, if he stays. Isaiah Crowell is the with the
Yeah, I
14th.
was gonna say Crowell,
And
was
then
probably
Zamir White is at 16, highest ranked in terms of high school recruiting class.
I bet Keith Marshall's up there too.
Yeah, Keith Marshall's got to be
Keith Marshall
pretty
was higher
high.
rated than Gurley out of high school.
Craig Lumpkin maybe ahead of your time out of
Mm.
Stevenson. He was like number 1 running back coming out. So he's 25th, and Keith Marshall's 27th. So yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of running backs in the all-time recruit rankings, but yeah, clearly, like I just said, none of them have been ranked as high as Keemon Spell. Just for a point of reference, Justin Fields is the highest ranked recruit Georgia's ever gotten, unfortunately, but we can move on. Ellis Robinson 2, Nolan Smith 3, and Elijah Griffin 4. So, could be a big couple years.
Sorry, sometimes my computer gives notifications and they're very loud. My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh yeah, no worries. But yeah, so yeah, as far as all-time recruits, that's a bold. We're not putting all that on Keemon Spell, but
no, we're not.
In terms of just getting back to having a star running back, like maybe that's what it looks. I think that is what it looks like, and that's probably like I got ahead of myself. 2021, I think, is kind of the prototype for Georgia now. It's like I don't think there's going to be a year where a guy does what Todd Gurley did 1 year. I guess it's kind of weird when you think about it, because Todd Gurley was the guy, but then that's the year Nick Chubb had such a good freshman year. But yeah, I think Georgia wants to have multiple guys. Like DeAndre Swift being like the one like really good back was a terrible 2019 offense. Like that's not what that team wanted to be. It's like Chubb and Michelle. Like that's what you want to be. I guess Chubb and Michelle is definitely better than James Cook and Zamir White were. Yeah, Swift and Holyfield. Like you want to have those two guys.
Tandem.
Yeah, that's fair. I think
because they both went for over 1K.
Yeah, Elijah Holyfield is always the guy I point to, like the number one guy that, because I don't think he got drafted, right?
No,
there's been a few guys through the years that left early and didn't get drafted. He's the one guy that I like don't blame for leaving early, even though he didn't get drafted, because I felt like that was like the best season he was going to have. Like he had like a really good 2018 season.
Yeah, I remember he had a pretty brutal combine, which kind of hurt him a lot in the draft. But he was a really good player at Georgia. I always say he's one of the more underrated Bulldogs of the Smart era.
Yeah, he was just super solid. I think he ran like a 4.8 at the combine or something like that. But yeah, he's where does he rank between like I'd put him somewhere behind Kenny McIntosh and in front of Kendall Milton.
Yeah, I've got him ahead of like Edwards and Milton. Yeah. That's about right. I'd have him. Yeah, he'd be below McIntosh for me, but yeah, dude, shout out to the real deal.
Yeah, I put him ahead of Zamir White for what he did at Georgia.
Yeah, it's tough. White probably has the tiebreaker for me because he scored a touchdown in the national championship. But in terms of output, I'm sure Holyfield probably had more, but we're getting off on a tangent here about Elijah Holyfield.
Absolutely. That's what we do here. It's February. Groundhog came, did whatever he does on Groundhog Day.
Shadow, didn't he?
I think so.
God,
which means it's colder for longer. Is that what that means?
It means 6 more weeks of winter, apparently.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never been into the whole Groundhog Day thing. I like the movie though.
Yeah, the movie's solid. Was it Philatoxy? I don't know. Philatoxy Phil. I'm pronouncing.
Yeah, I think that's his name.
Philatoxy. I'm close, but I know I'm off.
His name is yeah. It's like punks. I don't even know how to pronounce this, but yeah, it's something Phil. Starts with P. Ridiculous word.
Yeah. So shout out to Groundhog Day. But yeah. I want to look that up now. I want to know how to pronounce it, but it's not important. But yeah, Keemon Smell, Georgia getting a big time running back commit. But you kind of said what I didn't want to lead with is it's just like, man, recruiting really doesn't hit the same as it once did. Mm-hmm. Georgia signing is a whole other thing, but we're like 10 months till signing day. But Georgia getting the number 1 running back commit in the country should be like cause for celebration. And now you're just kind of like, yeah, I hope he signs with us. And that's what it used to be. I hope he signs with us. Now it's like, well, he signs with us. I hope he plays his whole career at Georgia.
Yeah.
Like, So I'm not putting all that saying this guy's going to transfer or anything like that, but it
Mm-hmm.
just it doesn't hit like it once did
Yeah.
because you just never know. And what it and I've said before, like who was it? There was the Carrollton commit.
Juju Lewis.
No, not
Oh,
Carrollton.
he was
Cartersville. The receiver out of Cartersville that flipped to Michigan and then didn't sign with
Oh,
Michigan.
yeah. What was that kid's name? The white kid.
But obviously, the more
Yeah.
obviously noteworthy example is Jared Curtis. Like Jared Curtis was committed to Georgia for what 7-8 months,
a minute.
and he was committed
That
twice
was,
to
I
Georgia
mean, that was one of
too.
the first things that we did on this show that I like when I was a part of this show was when we did a Jared Curtis like commitment thing and we talked about how big of a deal it was. But then we were
Yeah.
also like, well, you got to think like he might not, you know. And then sure enough, he goes to Vanderbilt months later.
Because we were all thinking, make sure we hold off Vanderbilt. We were
Yeah.
all thinking that at the time when he committed. No, just ridiculous the day and age we're living in. But yeah, it's like that's week before signing day, Jared Curtis, someone throws a bunch of money at him and changes everything. So I don't want to give any other recruiters around college football any ideas, but I feel like if I was a mid-tier program, I would probably just be scouring the big time programs commit list a month or two before signing day and just start offering those guys more money. Georgia and Ohio State thinks this guy's good. Let's offer him more than they did.
Just copy the other team's homework.
Yeah, like what's who says no? But no, don't do that.
Man. That's really not a bad way to do it.
It's a bad idea and it won't work. So don't do it. But yeah, so big time recruiting news. But that's where we are right now with the Dogs in the 2027 class. I had to double take that to make sure that was like that's rising high school seniors are 2027, huh? All the kids graduating high school weren't alive when I was born. Cool. Or weren't alive when I was graduating high school, I should say.
Yeah.
Doesn't make me feel old at all. But let's move on, sir.
Dude, I feel
more changes potentially coming. So you told me about this before the show. So Josh Brooks, I think, said something about a potential unsure about Georgia spring game here in 2026.
Yes. So Josh Brooks was asked. I think he was talking to the good folks over at Dog Nation. And yeah, they asked him, like, do you think that there's going to be a spring game this year? Because, normally it would be 2.5 months out from now. And he was basically like, I'm not sure. We'll have to. I've got the quote pulled up here. But it was basically to the effect of we got to wait and see how the calendar changes. But he goes, we'll see. Everything on that end is building and making those decisions work. We're kind of going through the portal now, and we'll see. But that's one of the things that's going to be the part of the future calendar discussions, like what do spring games look like. So I assume, I mean, it makes sense because, last year there were a number of programs that didn't have a spring game at all. They were just canceling them. And Georgia was actually one of the only programs that did have one, even though it wasn't on TV. And I guess the thinking behind that is that you just don't in nowadays era where teams are, calling other players on other teams and saying, hey, man, you want to come here? I got a nice bag for you. You just want to keep your players as less visible as possible, I guess. I'm butchering that phrasing, but you just want to keep them in the dark as much as you can so other teams cannot build information on them and think that, oh, this might be a guy that I want to poach, So it's just a byproduct of the way that the sport has devolved. Everything is about money now. Everything is about, just throwing cash at kids. And I guess spring game is one of a bevy of casualties of the new era in college football that we live in. Because it sounds like even if Georgia does have one this year, which they might, it probably won't be an annual thing anymore. We might be down to our last couple spring games ever.
Yeah, I think the event should still happen. Like, I think Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss kind of, as weird as it was, kind of did that right. That it was like, this is just an event. It's like a showcase. It's basically, it's more like a Midnight Madness that college basketball does. Like, let's all just get together and you see the players and all that stuff, whatever, do some competitions or whatever. Like, you just had like some, like, playing in the backyard. You just do quarterback, wide receiver, DB. A little one-on-one
Yeah.
action. Just just mess around. You could do anything kind of fun like that. I don't know about slam dunk contests and stuff. Ole Miss is obsessed with dunking basketballs on a
Yeah.
football field. I
They
don't know
do
what
do
that's
that a
all
lot, don't
about.
they? I wonder if
But
Kiffin's taking out to LSU. We'll see.
yeah, so I don't know, but like the logistical stuff of like fielding a team, have
Mhm.
fielding two teams has been like an issue in the past for some of these schools, but I think like you said, I think just keeping your roster close to the vest. Like I think that's the most important part at this point. It's like who was it? Andrew Paul a couple years ago that had like a pretty good
And
game
yeah,
in the spring
that's
game,
exactly what happened with Andrew
and then he
Paul.
got someone's like, oh,
Yeah.
he's probably worth a scholarship. I don't know if he's done anything since then. I'm
Mhm.
not sure he
I
has,
have
but
no idea, really. He got number 3,
um
though. He was like I was like, "Yeah, this guy, Andrew Paul, is gonna be good."
yeah, but yeah, it's like so just the fact of like that's Georgia's like number 5 running back or something, but your number 5 running back getting poached to another roster made your team worse. If it's
Yeah.
like a percentage of a percentage worse, it's a little bit worse. So yeah, you want to maintain that roster. I can understand just not wanting to show your hand in the spring game,
Mhm.
but I don't know. It's a fun thing for fans. I feel like you still try to find something that they could
Yeah.
do. I don't know, like turn into a combine, have guys run 40s. I don't know, or have them race fans. I don't know, just
Mhm.
something like as I think fans in like April, just like I think it's like people who do what is it, Christmas in July. People are just fiending for it. It's
It
like
really does feel like that.
any day you're just like, it's been so long since we had football. I just want to go to Sanford Stadium and just be a part of it for a little bit. I know when Kirby called out everybody, 93K day, I had to show. He called me by
Yeah.
name. I had to. He's Uncle Sam. He said I need you. So
Yeah.
I was there for that one. I think I went to like 2 or 3, but I haven't been in a couple
Mhm.
years. But I don't know. It seems
Yeah.
like a fun thing. It seems like the event should still exist, even if you can't do a full blown game.
Yeah, I've probably been to the last 3 or 4, and then over the last decade, I've probably been to 6 of them. I mean, I really like the spring game, man, and I agree that I think there should be some kind of event just for the kids, man. I mean, that was always my favorite thing about, like, when I was a kid growing up, we didn't go to that many Georgia games. We weren't just, like, ripping season tickets left and right, but, like, we would go to, like, they would play Troy at home or they'd play Louisiana Lafayette at home. We would go to that, and then we would go to the spring game sometimes, and I just loved that. Like, I just loved being a, 10-year-old kid, 11-year-old kid and being like, "Wow, like, I'm in Sanford Stadium, and everyone's doing the, go Dogs and everything," and, like, that I think and you get you get to watch the dog walk and everything, so even if they just turn it into some sort of, yeah, like combine slash meet and greet photo op or something, like I think that'd be nice because it really does. It galvanizes the fan base, and I mean that like, you mentioned the 93K day that they had in 2016. Obviously, that was a special circumstance because it was a new head coach who's a Georgia alum, and there was all this newfound energy going into the program. But like that really was a moment, man. When I think of like the most intense anticipated moments in Georgia football history, the 2016 spring game is up there. As ridiculous as that is to say nowadays, with everything that's happened with the team ever since and all the success they've had, like that kind of feeling, I think still matters. And I think you should still be trying to engage with the fan base and attract a buzz and a certain level of fanfare around your team. But I also do get like showcasing your players in this era when you don't have to is probably a bad idea. I mean, the Andrew Paul example is a good call because it's like if a Bo Walker goes out there or like a Thomas Blackshear goes out there and has a great game on G
It's a
Day,
Covey White.
yeah, as much as I hate to say it, that can really only mean bad things for Georgia. Because if he has a good spring game, you got to think he's just practicing well anyway. It's not like like the team and the coaching staff is seeing any new information. We're just seeing what they're seeing, and that can really only hurt you in the long run. So I understand it, but I would hate to see the spring game go, man. And yeah, just add that to the list of things that kind of suck about college football now, I guess.
Yeah, it would be a bummer. It's one of those things. I get it. I know people have talked about like, oh, this is when we should play the cupcake games. It's like, yeah, I'm here for that. It's just no one involved really
Georgia,
wants to do that.
Georgia plays Troy in April.
Yeah, it's like if we're gonna do that instead of like wasting a real game on them, but like, I mean, they're not gonna get the same payday for a
Just
game
have
in
it.
the spring.
I got an idea. They could
Although if
play.
you televised these all like they're like a several weekends in a row in April, like people would. I don't know. ESPN would
What,
put that on.
what if they played? What if they played North Oconee? That could work.
Someone needs to sign a waiver. I don't know.
That
Someone
could
might.
that'd be a good way to get the local Athens community engaged. It'd be a good thing for those high school kids. I'm kidding, but I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be a
Maybe
good thing
one
for the
day,
high
dude.
school kids who live to tell about it,
This
about
sport's gotten
lining up
so
against
ridiculous.
Georgia.
This sport's gotten so ridiculous. If some team scheduled a high school team like next year, I wouldn't even bat an eye. I'm just, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I saw whatever the documentary was on Bishop Sycamore. You know, I can't rule anything out at this point.
That was a good documentary.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That guy was messed up. What was his name?
Oh, I can't remember that.
He
He was like a legit sociopath.
That was really
That's why
bad.
I say all the time, like people like Connor Stallions out there. After watching that Connor Stallions doc, I was like, we should just all be glad that Connor Stallions is not doing anything nefarious with his abilities. Because this man, he could do anything he wants to.
That guy, that guy's scary. That guy could that guy could probably take over like a small island or something.
He definitely could. He's that dedicated. He's that detail oriented.
Yeah, he's crazy.
All right, sir. Also, shout out to T-Bone who's watching live with the Go Dogs here. T-Bone, we always appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for everyone who's tuning in, who's watching live and everything. Like, share, subscribe, and that good stuff. All of them. I'm losing count how many people are watching live. But this is our main topic right now. Today is how much can Georgia fans trust Gunnar Stockton? And let me start you with our FanDuel Heisman betting odds, sir. Let's look at currently tied. Brought to you by FanDuel, sir. These Heisman betting odds. Arch Manning and CJ Carr are both plus 750. Those are the two guys tied for. I'm shocked to see CJ Carr right there with Arch Manning.
He's tied for like the favorite.
Yeah,
CJ
currently
Carr?
this is as of like 12 days ago.
That is interesting. I mean, he's not a bad player, but I'm surprised.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's a good number. Like it feels like it'd be like a decent guy to bet, but not as like the favorite. Like maybe it's like a long shot. But then we got Josh Hoover at plus 1,000, Jeremiah Smith plus 1,500, Julian Sayin plus. That's plus 1,300. Julian Sayin also plus 1,300. Darian Mensah, the Miami quarterback, is plus 1,500, and then tied along with Sam Levitt, Dante Moore. I said that wrong. Darian Mensah, Sam Levitt, Dante Moore, and our boy Gunnar Stockton are all tied at plus 1,500. I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but Dante Moore being way down there seems like one of the better bets for the 2026 season. But Gunnar Stockton, so what is that? Tied for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th. And he finished 6th or 7th in the Heisman? Was it 6th? I want to say this past year. 7th. Chambliss was right around him, right?
Yeah, Chambliss probably finished ahead of him.
So with a 10 being Gunnar Stockton, your Joe Namath over here, guarantee Gunnar Stockton wins a national title, gets his Joe Burrow on, wins the Heisman too. I guess pulls a Mendoza. How many people have done that? I'm sure they said a trivia question. Burrow, Mendoza, Cam Newton.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. I guess Mendoza and or Cam and Burrow both did the triple crown, I guess, if you want to call it, the Heisman, Natty, #1 overall pick. Yeah. Mendoza, I would probably doing that, right?
Do that too.
So that's a 10. And then 1 is bench Gunnar Stockton. Ryan Puglisi should be the starter. We should have gone to the portal. Where do you rank Gunnar Stockton between 1 and 10?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because as much of a strong season as Gunnar Stockton did have, I mean, he came up huge for Georgia in some huge moments. You think about the Tennessee game and the original Ole Miss game, and he even had his moments in the second Ole Miss game where their season ended. Um, there are a lot of other variables at play here. I mean, he's losing his stud left tackle to the NFL draft. He is losing 6 of his top 7 pass catchers from last year. The only guy returning from that top 7 being London Humphreys, who is coming off of a respectable year, but not one where he exactly filled up the stat sheet. And I think the Zachariah Branch of it all is really, really worth talking about because I mean, like, I that's as much of like an easy button on offense, I think, as you can have on a football field in the SEC is a guy who you can pretty much just, I mean, I'm not saying screen passes are easy. It still takes good play design. You still have to block well. The quarterback has to give him the chance to run after the catch and everything. But you can throw Zachariah Branch a little flare and he's liable to take it for 15, 20 yards, and they did that over and over again. They kind of lived off that stuff. I mean, think of how many 3rd and 6s Gunnar would just turn and fire to Zach Branch and he'd pick it up, And I think that's a big deal. I mean, Zachariah Branch was an incredible player, obviously broke the program record for receptions. He had 54 more receptions than the second leading guy on the team, which was Dylan Bell. I mean, like that is as big of a loss as you can get. They were really, really, really dependent on him. And it'd be one thing
Worth noting that Dylan Bell is also gone too.
Yeah, Dylan Bell is also gone. Like, so are 5 other guys. And like I just think it'd be one thing if they were throwing him the ball, vertically, and Gunnar and Branch had this amazing chemistry where they were hitting all kinds of routes and everything. But it was a lot simpler than that. And it worked, and it got them to the playoff. It got them an SEC championship. But it's just Gunnar Stockton's production is going to have to look a lot different next year because there is not that kind of player on this team. I mean, Zachariah Branch's skill set is not really replicable by just about anybody. But really, I mean, there are guys on the team that I like. I think Sokovia White's going to be a good slot receiver, but he's not going to be a Zachariah Branch. He's a completely different player from that. He's a lot he's shiftier. He might be a little better route runner, but doesn't have the same explosiveness, And so they're going to have to rely on Stockton to throw the ball vertically, I think, more often. I expect the running game to be about at the same level it was this year, maybe even better if they can get a completely healthy season out of Frazier and Bowens again. But I wouldn't bank on that just because it's running backs. Running backs always get injured because being a running back sucks. So yeah, so the question for me, I guess, is we've seen Gunnar Stockton have these brilliant moments as a vertical passer. When his back is against the wall, he has come up in some big spots. You think about the 2 4th downs he picked up against Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl, or the hump nail boot play against Tennessee, or just the way that he led all those scoring drives against Ole Miss. So proof of concept is there, and I know I'm rambling. So all that to say, I don't know. I'm not convinced that Gunnar Stockton is ready to be this drop back vertical passer who can put the offense on his back week in and week out. I think he's capable of doing that in spots, but I don't think that's a guy that you can just kind of hitch all your wagons to. I think it really depends on what this new look receiving core ends up looking like. If we get a breakout year from Taylor or CJ Wiley or Sokovia White. So right now, I think I'm about like a 7. And if I start to feel better, then that could come up. But I might bump it down to a 6 just because I don't know if I trust him to be like the volume passer that I think they might need him to be. But maybe they won't. Maybe the running game is even better. Maybe the tight ends turn out to be amazing. Maybe the receivers, I mean, Taylor emerges as one of the best deep threats in the SEC. All that stuff is entirely possible, but I think there's just too many question marks and uncertainties right now for me to say that I feel great. So I'll go with a 7, which is I still feel pretty good about him, but I'm not sure if he can really carry the offense. right
Yeah,
now.
losing. So, in terms of receptions, Georgia is going to replace their 5 leading receivers from this year: Zachariah Branch, Dylan Bell, Colby Young, Oscar Delp, and Cash Jones. Believe it or not, was Georgia's 5th leading receiver, ahead of Humphreys, Noah Thomas, and Noah Thomas, another guy they're also losing. Like the last time I can remember that happening was 2018,
Yeah.
and so many people forget how
Dude,
good Jake Fromm was in 2018.
yeah.
Like he was one of the best quarterbacks in college football that year. Huge drop off. Granted, it was the 1 year James Coley as the OC, so that's another variable, but it was a massive drop off in
Oh, yeah.
2019. Who'd you lose? Miko Hardman. You
Riley Ridley,
lost Riley
Terry
Ridley,
Godwin.
Godwin, JJ Holloman got kicked off.
Yeah.
I think
I think
Isaac Nauta was
Nauta was
also one of
gone too.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess running backs would have been back. But yeah, it's like you lost. I think it was the top 5 receivers that year, and Georgia just did not have the guys to replace them. Who was it? Cager and I don't even
Like,
know who the other
dude, like Eli.
Dominic Blaylock, maybe.
You remember Eli Wolf?
Oh, I guess George Pickens. That was George Pickens'
Pickens,
best
yeah,
year of his
that was
career, his freshman year.
but yeah, and Pickens was a true freshman, and I mean,
Yeah, he
couldn't
was
be,
definitely
couldn't be
inconsistent.
relied upon to not, sock a player in the face and get suspended for a half. So he was. I mean, yeah, Pickens was money, but like
Yeah,
they were in a situation where it's like, oh, we really need this true freshman to be good right away. That's not that unlike what they're in now. It's just like, oh, we need this true sophomore who's barely played to be good right away.
yeah, exactly. I mean, who is? I mean, if you're looking at this isn't the segment we're doing right now, but like, who's the top 5 receivers on Georgia off the top? Like,
And
why? Right? You said Wiley and Taylor.
the most proven guy is Humphreys, and then the other proven guy is Canyon, who hasn't played a snap for Georgia
Oh,
yet.
and Canyon, yeah, for
So
sure. And obviously Lawson Lucky is back. Sokovie White, Elias Williams gonna be 2 of the guys are relied on. So yeah, I mean it's a lot of unproven guys. But yeah, like you said, Isaiah Canyon, I don't know, after we had 2 very different performances from our transfer receivers this year. One was one of the best seasons we've ever seen with Zachariah Branch, and Noah Thomas was a non-factor for most of the season. So it's you never necessarily know what you're getting out of the portal. The negative way to look at last year's production is you don't have Zachariah Branch. You can't just throw a screen and have a guy pick up 10 yards like you could with Zachariah Branch every time, just about every time. I guess he picked up 10 yards every time. Obviously, every play didn't work.
Yeah.
But also, you had Zachariah Branch on the team. Mike Bobo is calling the things that are going to work. You're dumb if you're not throwing a bunch of screens to Zachariah Branch if he's your best player.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. It worked.
They could have run a completely, it's like they could be capable of a completely different offense, but they just ran to match their personnel. Like that is definitely possible. It because of the lack of vertical passing game at some points in the season, not super confident. I feel like it's probably a combination of both. This isn't a fair standard to judge Gunnar Stockton at by all, because I think he should be the 2025 NFL MVP. But I've been watching a lot of Matthew Stafford, and the amount of Rams games, the amount of games are just downs I see go to 3rd and 11, that there's just no hesitation that they can pick it up. It's like I felt, as I would say, a basically low key Rams fan this year. I'm watching the same way of like, oh, 3rd and 11, they could pick this up. When I watched Georgia play in 2025 and it was 3rd and anything more than 8, I didn't have very much confidence that Georgia's picking it up. And I think a big reason of that is because I didn't trust Gunnar Stockton in this downfield passing game. So it's hard to say you trust it more. We were super confident in Colby Young coming into last year too. And obviously he had his injuries, but
I think we were right about that.
I think we were, yeah. And we don't have a Colby Young either. Not only do we not have a Zachariah Branch, we don't have a Colby Young.
Well, that's kind of where Canyon comes in. I think Canyon is pretty similar to Colby Young.
He could be.
But there is no Branch. No.
Yeah, that's a big X factor right there. So in terms of how much do I trust Gunnar Stockton in 2026, like Georgia just won an SEC championship with Gunnar Stockton as their quarterback and had maybe not the toughest schedule in the SEC, but one of the tougher schedules in the SEC. You know, you played Alabama at home, you played Ole Miss at home, you played Texas at home. who was the toughest? Tennessee on the road. Like it was a fairly tough SEC slate. Absolutely murdered Alabama in the SEC championship game. My confidence that Georgia can win the SEC with Gunnar Stockton is probably somewhere an 7 or 8 because we just did it, and it wasn't necessarily a great defense. It was a team that they were opportunistic. They had some good performances down the stretch, but they weren't always the most consistent. So I think, like you said, it depends on a lot of things. I don't think Gunnar Stockton is going to be the guy that just carries Georgia to a win or to like a national title or something. But, if Georgia runs the ball as well as they ran the ball this past year, I think the defense has to take the next step. I think if the defense is exactly as good as it was this year and the run game is exactly as good as it was this year, obviously Gunnar can take another step in 2026, and I expect him to. But I'm not sure how confident I am that Georgia can win a national championship with all things being the same. But if both of those things, I would say the defense more than the run game. If the defense takes the next step and Gunnar does exactly what he did in 2025, I'd say I got to put it like a 6 or a 7 that I trust Gunnar is the guy that can take Georgia to a national championship. Also, if you're talking just simply like transfer portal, like who's the guy Georgia should have gone out and gotten like to be an upgrade over Gunnar? I don't think that guy was even out there. So like I hear some Georgia like rumblings from Georgia fans of like, I just don't know about running it back with Gunnar a second time. Like I'm with you. Like I'm not 100% sure Georgia can win a national championship with Gunnar Stockton, but there's not just a bunch of options out there. The transfer portal isn't like the NCAA video game that there's just a bunch of 90s overall that are just out there in the transfer portal. It just doesn't really work that way. I think Gunnar fits what Georgia wants to do. Obviously, there's the whole leadership and intangibles and stuff, but I do worry if Georgia has to if Gunnar has to carry the load on the ground as much next year as he did this year. I honestly think he was kind of broken down by the end of the season.
Yeah.
I don't, and that's with a month off between the SEC championship game and that Ole Miss game too. So that's another thing you have to worry about. You saw the clip of him lining up behind the left guard at one point in the Ole Miss game, like for the snap, and then like, hey, Frazier being like, hey, wrong guy. He's like, gotcha. Yeah. That's not great. That's not what you want from your quarterback. So, yeah, I guess I don't know. Maybe this is riding the fence, but I'll put out a solid 6-7 that Georgia can win a national championship with Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah, I think the other part of it too, which I don't want to spend too much time on this because I think this could be a whole other segment, is he has got to be better about not taking as many hits. As much as his willingness to lower the shoulder and fight for extra yards, that made him a fan favorite, and I'm sure it really won the respect of his teammates and everything and all that. Like all that stuff is good, but I just you're too important to the team to be consistently putting your body on the line like that. Like I know that he's just so competitive that he just kind of blacks out in those moments and just lowers the shoulder anyway. And it's probably a really hard thing for him to just like change, for him to just decide to start sliding or shuffling out of bounds or whatever. But like he has got to start doing that. And especially if he ends up having to carry more of the load offensively, which I think he definitely will this season without Branch there. He is going to have to protect himself better. And that's the kind of thing that I feel like we can't really make a prediction on. We're just going to have to see him either do it or not do it. And if he once again, is just kind of reckless out there with getting blown up all the time, in all likelihood, he probably will be a different player towards the end of the year. He probably will be kind of broken down, and they can't afford to have that happen if they want to make it out of the quarterfinal, because you can't keep having your quarterback. I mean, everyone's banged up in the playoff, but you can't be more banged up than the average guy in the playoff for the quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you saw, was it Riley Leonard, and that like people love the way Riley Leonard played in that national championship game.
God.
Like that dude was broken down.
That first drive. Oh my goodness. Where he's
like 18 plays or something like that. It was something crazy.
they scored, and I think everyone was just like, they won't be doing that again. And sure enough, I mean, they didn't sustain another drive like the rest of the game. Like
They made that little comeback, I think, in the
they
fourth
did,
quarter,
yeah.
right? But it
And
was
then they left Jeremiah Smith 1-on-1 with the game on the line.
yeah, bold strategy. So yeah, Gunnar Stockton, he still got our endorsement over here.
Oh, indeed, indeed, he does.
So NFL draft, we still got a few months, sir, but I want you to go on the record here. We'll both go on the record. We got the combine coming up, but some of these things start to solidify. We're just gonna go rapid fire. I think Georgia had 11. I saw some article from September that predicted 11 Georgia players getting drafted this year. I do not think that's gonna happen, but I got the list in front of me. I could have left someone out, but I think I got everybody here. So we're just gonna go rapid fire here, sir, and just I'm gonna tell you a player, and you're gonna tell me if what round he's getting drafted in.
Okay.
All right, you ready for it?
Yeah.
CJ Allen.
See, that's a tough one. I mean, he plays a position that traditionally does not get drafted all that highly unless you're a very, very different kind of prospect. But I still think CJ Allen is just a stud against the run. I think he's has a nose for the football, has a knack for plugging holes and fitting the run well. Leaves a bit to be desired in pass coverage, but it's nothing that makes him undraftable. So I'll say off of his pedigree, and I'm sure he'll interview well, and I'm sure he'll check all the right boxes at the combine, even though he might be a bit undersized. But I think CJ Allen sneaks into the end of the first round.
I'm with you. I go first round for CJ Allen as well. I don't think I would have predicted that before the year started, but he was a dude this year, man. He's just a prototype inside linebacker.
Heart and soul.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, shout out to Quintavious Johnson. News over the last week or so that he's going to be switching to number 3. So going the same path as CJ Allen, going from 33 to number 3. So we'll see if that looks slimming on him next year. I don't know.
I kind of like 33, man, but it's all right. Get your single digit numbers in. I understand.
I'm with you. I feel like there's like a history of like dudes trying to pass down numbers to other guys too. So
yeah, I'm sure CJ gave him the blessing,
Who was 3 before CJ Allen? Put you on the spot there.
Lassiter.
Ah, good call. Kamari Lassiter. Kwame Lassiter was safety for the Cardinals, late 90s, early 2000s. That's not who we're talking about. Kamari Lassiter. Monroe Freeling. I'm going first round for him.
I'm going first round too. I mean, this is a pretty good tackle draft. There's Francis out of Miami. There's two guys from Utah. They're supposed to be really good. Proctor, I know, is up there, even though he might get kicked into guard, but everyone needs tackles. I mean, like everyone always needs tackles. There are very few teams in the NFL that have their tackles shored up, and so Monroe Freeling, a guy that I was not always in love with in his time at Georgia, put together a really, really, really good 2025 season. I mean, he was a stud. They put him over on left tackle the entire time and said, hold it down. And he really did. So I think he's definitely played his way into being a first round pick.
I'm with you there. 2-time SEC lineman of the week this year. I think he put some of those 2024 struggles in the rearview mirror for sure. Christian Miller next on the list.
Yeah, I've seen Christian Miller actually get a good bit of buzz. I don't know if he'll quite sneak into the first round. I don't think he has quite the crazy like athletic chops or whatever to do that, but he was a really productive player at Georgia, and by all accounts a great leader and teammate, which NFL teams do care about, especially nowadays. So I think Christian Miller, I think we see him on day 2, man. I'll give him a 3rd round right now.
Going 3rd round
with the potential. I mean, depending on how he does in the combine, that could go up. But I think I would say 3rd round on February 2nd, 2026.
I think he gets a Georgia boost and what you're talking about, some
Yeah.
of those intangibles, and they practice the right way at Georgia and work hard, all that kind of stuff. I think he sneaks into the second round. I'm gonna go second on Christian Miller.
All right.
Zachariah Branch.
Yeah.
This is
See
one of the hardest ones to do,
that.
honestly. I would have said first round the day the season ended, but people are having him in like the hundreds and stuff. I see.
It's just weird because we talked a lot of today about how Georgia used him in a very simple way, I guess. It was a lot of screens, and his route tree was just very limited throughout his time at Georgia, and that's just not going to fly in the NFL. You can't just be like a gadget only guy nowadays. I mean, those guys don't have a very long shelf life, all things considered. You've got to be able to do more. So I get I just don't know. I don't know if we can really evaluate Zachariah Branch's route running and overall route tree versatility as a player, because he didn't really get that many opportunities to show it off at Georgia. But when he did, I mean, he had that touchdown against Ole Miss, and then he had that 4th and 10 conversion. And those were he got separation vertically on those plays. And not to mention, I mean, he truly is a special guy with the ball in his hands. I mean, he's got juke moves and dead legs that you just don't see all too often. And that eventually is going to be too good for someone to pass up. So I think it really depends on how he does in the combine with certain drills, certain route running drills that teams like to use. I know that you don't want to get into a DK Metcalf situation where you freak out about a guy's 3-cone and then throw out all the other stuff about just how good he is and athletic he is. So I don't know. He is a tough one, but I mean, man, he is so freaking talented, and he just put together one of the best seasons I've ever seen an offensive player at Georgia have. So I'm higher on Zachariah Branch than I think most people are as far as his draft stock. So I think he'll go in the second round.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I'm looking. So I always compared him to basically Mecole Hardman and Isaiah McKenzie, kind of just wrapped into one. So Isaiah McKenzie was drafted 5th round. Mecole Hardman was drafted 2nd round. If Mecole Hardman can go 2nd round, 56th overall, like, he was a way bigger impact player in college than Mecole Hardman ever was. Like, he was basically drafted on 40 time, like, kind of the measurables and upside. Not to say his junior year wasn't like pretty productive. Like, he was a really solid receiver that year, and obviously super dangerous return man. The fact that the return game is kind of making a comeback in the NFL right now,
Yeah,
I think is
very
pretty
true.
big. And this dude, like you said, he's just different with the ball in his hands. Like, I think he is more than I thought. He was just, a screen guy. Like, let's just give it to him. He showed he was way more than that in terms of making plays downfield, making contested catches and stuff too. I'm with you. I think with just the ability and just the creativity in some of these offensive minds throughout the NFL, like, someone's gonna be licking their chops to be like, I would love to figure out a way for this to be the 4th weapon in my offense, something like that. I think I'm with you. I think he goes 2nd round.
Yeah, I think so. That's a good point about the kick return rules. I wasn't thinking about that, but that could be where he kind of makes his money at.
We can only hope so, sir. And then the next one, I got Oscar Delp. Where do you think we got Oscar Delp going? This might not be the order that everyone else would have, but I got Oscar Delp next.
He was rather he's pretty unproductive in college, all things considered. And I know, I mean, he's in the Bowers shadow and everything, so it's not really fair to judge his production, I guess, all the time. He's got an NFL build, I think. He's got pretty nice burst and acceleration for a tight end. I think he flashed some red zone shots, maybe not the most that you want to see, but as far as contested catch situations and everything. But I think he had a stretch in 2024 towards the end of the year where he caught 7 passes and 4 of them were touchdowns. So he's clearly got a knack for producing there when he needs to, or when they need him to. But I don't know. That's a tough one. I'll get. I mean, he is a Georgia tight end, which no doubt he will benefit from that. But I mean, Darnell Washington, I think, was a 3rd round pick, right?
I was
So
just I
Oscar
was
Delp,
just looking that up.
I would have if Darnell Washington was a 3rd round pick, I think I'll give Delp a 4th round right now. But I could see him being a much better pro than Georgia player. I mean, I really think he is a legit NFL player, and I think he'll be a steal for somebody.
So you're going 4th round?
Yeah.
Yeah, Darnell Washington was the 30th pick of the 3rd round, so barely snuck in there in the 3rd. The production is definitely underwhelming for kind of what we thought he was, but yeah, I think Georgia tight ends have kind of proven their value through the years. Like, I mean, not a lot of these guys have been drafted high. What Charlie Warner was like a 7th round pick or something.
Yeah. He stuck around, man.
John Fitzpatrick was a 6th round pick. What Jurasek was drafted, right?
Yeah. Those guys have all hung on too. I mean,
don't forget Trey McKitty back in 2021.
Charlie Warner has gotten a few contracts.
Yeah, so I think I just look at the ability he's got, and I don't know. He's got a lot of the tools to be like, I feel like a legit NFL tight end. Like,
Yeah,
I kind of think he's going to be a guy who tears up the combine. Maybe he's not Kyle Pitts or something, like just destroying the combine, like the best athlete there. I don't think he's going to do anything like that. But I think this guy, he just seems like a prototype, just NFL tight end, like not necessarily the receiver type, not necessarily the blocker type. He's just like the prototype, does it all. I think he's a 3rd rounder by the end of it.
Yeah, he could really. I mean, I'm going to say this about almost everybody, but because it's Georgia, but he could really benefit from a crazy combine. I think he probably will.
For sure. Next, we got Dalen Everett.
I'll go 3rd round for Dalen Everett. He's got ideal size and length for what an NFL boundary corner is these days. Lots of experience in press man coverage, lots of experience as a starting outside boundary corner in the SEC, which is not something many prospects can say. Obviously, he had his struggles at times with just kind of overall consistency, but I mean, man, he made some huge plays in some big games. I think that's going to matter to some people too. I know a lot of Georgia fans would get pretty frustrated with Dalen Everett because everyone hates cornerbacks, but I thought Dalen Everett was a very good player at Georgia overall, and I think he's definitely got a future in the NFL. So I'll go 3rd round for Dalen Everett.
He was a really tough one for me, because obviously he's kind of the only one who was getting any kind of 1st round buzz kind of coming into the season. I guess maybe CJ Allen's getting a little 1st round buzz. Where do you think how do you think he compares to Kelee Ringo?
I think he was better than Kelee Ringo.
You think so? I think that's what's kind of throwing me off is I feel like he was good, like not great. I kind of felt the same way about Kelee Ringo, who was a 4th rounder. I think if I'm splitting hairs, I probably do rank him ahead of Kelee Ringo, but they kind of seem similar to me. Obviously, he had a couple games he absolutely just took over. I'm gonna go 4th round for Dalen Everett.
Yeah, I think it's just going to depend on whatever scheme he ends up in, because if you run a lot of zone defense, you probably don't want Dalen Everett. I mean, he has not been very great as a zone defender throughout his Georgia career, but there are a lot of NFL teams that love to just run press man coverage all day. I mean, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. They're definitely one of them. So teams that run that style of defense, I think, are going to like him. And again, I think he will end up starting a few NFL games one day, if not more than that, because he profiles as a pretty good, like, man-to-man boundary corner in the NFL if he can get his consistency better.
Yeah, I hope you're right. He seems like a guy who could definitely play in the NFL for a long time. I am curious to see what someone like him runs the 40 in, because it's like someone like him doesn't seem like a burner. So if he comes out there and runs a 4.4 flat, I think all of a sudden people are, oh, okay, Dalen Everett. I wasn't expecting all that, and that could really upgrade him, because I think with some of those big plays he's made, I mean, I think he's shown the instincts and some of that stuff that the NFL teams want to see. Speaking of a guy who I think is going to be a 4th rounder and probably just a staple on someone's starting lineup for years, Micah Morris. Like I
Hmm.
said, I think Micah Morris is going to be a 4th rounder, but he just feels like the kind of Georgia player that goes mid rounds. Jamari Sawyer or something. I think he was like a 6th rounder, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
It just plays the right way, and he's just going to be solid for years.
Yeah, I think the fact that Micah Morris was kind of a spot starter throughout his time at Georgia is going to hurt him a little bit. Just the fact that he was never like a full time guy on that offensive line, but he was a good player and he played there for a long time and he's got good versatility. I think he's played both guard spots. They might have even used him at center in a pinch, but I'm not positive. I don't think they did, but they might have. Wouldn't be surprised. So I think he's got that going for him. But like I said, I think the lack of like down to down playing time might work against him in a way that it doesn't for some other guard prospects. Like, Ratledge and Fairchild last year went 2nd and 3rd round. So I think if we're going to use kind of that property to judge it and just look at the guy's output at Georgia, like I would say Micah Morris, I'd have him as like a 6th rounder probably. But I do agree. I think he could become a starter in the NFL and just be a guy that was kind of hiding at Georgia.
Yeah, that's what he kind of feels like. A guy who's better in the NFL than he really was at Georgia. This is the last guy I have getting drafted. Dylan Bell. I have him with a 6th round pick. I feel like the combine is really going to impact where he ultimately gets drafted. I just feel like he has such a skill set that NFL team is going to take a chance on him. He could play running back in the NFL as far as we know. Like, I mean, I don't know. The dude he's flashed abilities to play some running back, to be used as kind of a gadget guy. I just think Dylan Bell is really solid. He's made some big plays, made some really tough catches throughout his Georgia career. I obviously had some drops in 2024, but outside of 2024, I feel like he was pretty consistent for most of his career. If he goes out there and runs a 4.65, like, that's probably not great for him. But he might not be a burner. I could definitely see him going out there running a 4.6 something and just, okay, maybe he doesn't get drafted, but I don't know. He just got an interesting skill set. I think someone takes a chance on him.
He does have an interesting skill set, and I'm sure he could profile as a very good special teamer.
I could see that.
He definitely was he was a lot better last year than I thought he was in 2024. A lot of those drop issues you didn't really see as much. But to me, I just I don't know. Like, I don't know. Dylan Bell to me seems like a player that's kind of like maybe a bit too versatile for his own good. There's nothing that he really like excels at. But I mean, I'm sure he stacks up athletically with a lot of the other like Z type guys in this draft. I just don't know if he has quite the level of production for somebody who was there as long as he was to be like a surefire guy, but he could be, yeah, like another gadget special teamer. So I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on if he's going to get drafted. I think if he did, it'd be a 7th rounder. I think Colby Young is more likely to get drafted than Bell.
Shoot. I totally forgot. I left Colby Young off my list.
Colby Young. That's also probably not a guarantee, but like Dominic Lovett got drafted last year. He was way worse than Colby Young. So, Colby Young has legit NFL size, got legit contested catching ability. I mean, he would have probably had 600, 700 yards for Georgia last year, 8 touchdowns if he didn't get injured. I mean, he was a very good player at Georgia, and I think he's going to kind of be forgotten about in this draft cycle because his season didn't end prematurely, but he missed a massive part of it. And I think he is an NFL player, and I'm going to be rooting for him. I think, Javon Wims hung around in the NFL for many years, and I could totally see Colby Young doing the same thing. I think they're very similar players.
For sure. Where do you think Colby Young gets drafted?
6th round.
All right. And you making a decision on Dylan Bell? Dylan Bell getting drafted?
I'm gonna say no. Actually, no. I'll give him a 7th round. I think 7th round. That's where Lovett went last year. That seems about right for Dylan Bell.
Yeah, that does seem about right. So the last ones, this is who the other guys I got. So I did forget Colby Young, so that's a good call out. I have Noah Thomas Brett Thorson. Oh shoot, Brett Thorson might get drafted.
He
Actually,
low-key might. Yeah, I don't know.
let me
In
throw
the
Brett
7th round,
Thorson in there on the 7th.
and I'm sure they're gonna love his interviews because it's Brett Thorson. You know.
Yeah. So so I am gonna go Brett Thorson 7th. You have Brett Thorson get drafted?
I'll second that.
Okay. And then we got Noah Thomas, Josh McCray, Cash Jones, Ja'Cory Thomas. Any of those you think get drafted?
I don't think any of those guys are going to get drafted. If one of them did, I think it would be Noah Thomas. But those other guys, I'm just not sure if they have quite the athleticism or the production that the NFL is looking for. But they do have that Georgia pedigree, and that's not nothing. And we've seen, I mean, I think it was Nazir Stackhouse went undrafted this year. Chaz Chambliss went undrafted last year. They made their teams, and they were contributors. And I think those guys could do that too. I think, if Cash Jones carved out a niche as like a pass protecting demon / special teams guy for a while in the NFL, it wouldn't surprise me at all. The other guy, Noah Thomas,
if Cash Jones was on an NFL roster for a while, that wouldn't surprise you?
Not really, man. He is really great in pass protection. I think that's like a really underrated skill that for running backs. I think he gets invited to a camp, and maybe he makes the team. Who knows?
I'll say this with all due respect to Cash Jones. I'll be shocked if Cash Jones ever touches the ball in an NFL game.
That would be sick, though, dude. Because
it would be. I'm here for it.
I'd be seated, man.
But yeah, Ja'Cory Thomas, I don't see.
It's probably a stretch for him to like be like an NFL player for years, but I think he has NFL skills.
Like Kenny McIntosh isn't even like an NFL player, basically.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he's on a roster, but is he even getting touches?
No, but he's on the roster,
I'm saying Kenny McIntosh is way better than Cash Jones.
Well, Kenny McIntosh tore his ACL over the summer. So.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, that explains that.
But
I'm a college guy, not an NFL guy. But yeah, I think that's so. If all of those get drafted, that we say, so we don't really disagree on any. I think I pressured you into Dylan Bell. I think you would have said undrafted if I hadn't brought it up. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys getting drafted. Which feels like this was a down year for Georgia NFL production, and 10 guys getting drafted is pretty insane.
Yeah, we'll see. It might be closer to 8 or 9, but it could get to 10. It could get to 11. Who knows?
Yeah, I would guarantee 7, maybe 8. Colby Young would be the 8th. I feel good about 8, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Josh McCray had a better year at Illinois. I don't know if he tests well. Maybe he could. I don't know. I also Jurasic, he did not get drafted. I don't know. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
He came out last year, yeah.
But yeah,
he's still on Minnesota's roster though, I believe.
Okay. So yeah, so that's what we got. We're gonna have to come back to the people. Just give our once we start naming Georgia running backs, I think that's gonna be an exercise we're gonna have to do in the future. Just list our best Georgia running, and maybe do a draft. Maybe we'll do a draft of Kirby Smart running backs or just all time Georgia running backs. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Who basketball team in action on Wednesday this week?
Yeah,
no, not till Saturday.
They actually don't play until the weekend.
Till Saturday, so at LSU.
They're off a whole week. I was looking at the Hawks schedule, and usually Georgia has like a game the day or two after the Hawks do, but Georgia's off until Saturday this week.
Yeah. So started 16-3, lost 3 straight, trending in the wrong direction, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see this Saturday at LSU. You got anything to add about the basketball team?
Just that the tournament kind of looks like a long shot right now. I mean, they're just so inconsistent. They don't really have a guy that they can look to get a bucket consistently. They've had guys show flashes. I mean, sometimes Smirk Millender looks like the dude. Sometimes Jeremiah Wilkinson does too. But I don't know, man. Somto Surreal is really good. He's gonna be an NBA player one day. But I don't know.
Cannon Catchings too. I mean, he's looked really good at times.
But it's all just guys that are just showing flashes and not really putting it together the whole way. And you see that in SEC games. I mean, they have some really rough stretches. So right now the tournament is not looking likely, considering, I mean, they kind of snuck in last year and then lost by 30, and this year the team is worse. But it's not out of the
You think
cards.
it's unlikely?
Yeah, I do. I
Right now
think
they're in 11th. Right now
people
they're in 11th
vastly
place in the
underrate how
SEC.
hard it is to actually make the tournament. You can't just like people just look at the team's record and like, oh, they're this record. How they not make a tournament? It's like, dude, there's a lot of teams out there.
I'm just thinking the SEC is just so deep. The Ole Miss loss was, oh man, that one's gonna come back to bite them. But just the way they lost the Ole Miss game, I guess, too. But at home. But they're 11th place in the SEC right now. I mean, I think the SEC could reasonably get 11 or 12 in, right?
Well,
Like,
that's what I'm saying though. That would require them to be like the last team in there from the SEC.
yeah, 10, 11 seed or something. No, I think that's fair. But we'll see. The Dogs can get it done on Saturday. Anything else from you, sir? Or any miscellaneous things you want to shout out?
I don't think so. I don't think I have anything miscellaneous this week.
Let's hope that Matthew Stafford gets his NFL MVP at the NFL awards this week. What do you say? Do you think Stafford wins it, or do you think it's Drake May?
I mean, I would give it to Drake May. Don't kill me, Georgia fans, but Stafford's my guy. So if he got it, I wouldn't be mad at all. But I think Drake May has definitely been more valuable to his team this year. I mean, they're like the number one offense in the NFL in terms of EPA, and it's because of him. I mean, he has been incredible this year, but we'll see.
This is a solid segue to my final shout out, because this isn't how they're supposed to do awards, but this is how they do awards. It's like a career achievement. Drake May's in year 2. He can win an MVP anytime. This is Stafford's MVP. The 2005 National League MVP in Major League Baseball should have gone to my guy, Andrew Jones, who is now in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Yes, sir. So that was my other thing. Shout out to Andrew Jones, my favorite childhood player, finally going in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. But he had an amazing season in 2005. But because Barry Bonds had his 4 roided out MVPs the previous 4 years, that's, in my opinion, that's why MLB gave that MVP to Albert Pujols, because it was like, okay, Pujols kind of earned this through the years, or Bonds was on roids. So now Bonds is gone. Pujols deserves this MVP. And he got it over Andrew Jones. I'm not saying it's right, but I just feel like that's how they give awards. Like Jokic could have won like 4 or 5 MVPs in a row, but they like gave one to Embiid at one point. You know, Derrick Rose got an MVP at one point instead of LeBron. Exactly. It's like some of that sort of stuff, career achievement, like Stafford year 14 or whatever he's in. Like, I don't know. He's earned it. He's the MVP, man. Give it to my guy Stafford. Drake May's got a long year. He can win one.
Yeah, we'll see. But, success in the NFL is just so fleeting. It comes and goes. You think you'll be back, and then you never get back. So I'll never just be like, this guy will have more opportunities, because you never know. This might be the only good year Drake May ever has. I don't think that's true.
No, that's definitely fair.
I would just judge the seasons on the merit of what they are, and not get caught up in, career politics and stuff like that, because that to me should not be the spirit of the MVP.
No, that's fair. But even just the merit, like led the league in touchdowns and yards. Like, give it to Stafford, man. He's the guy.
Oh, yeah, he killed it. He had a great year, man.
But yeah, we'll see this week when the NFL gives out their awards. But appreciate everyone who's watching, everyone's tuning in live, all that good stuff. Please like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Georgia Bulldogs Live, presented by FanDuel. We appreciate everyone tuning in. And until next time, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the voice of college football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the voice of college football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.